up, you guys? I'm just getting a few more things lined out here for you. So we are about ready. Welcome back. Thanks for hanging out tonight. So yeah, tonight we're going to be going over a few different things. I have been working on this one project for probably a week now, and I probably have 20 or 30 hours into it. That's why I haven't been super active lately. So yeah, let's just make sure all my audio's good. If you guys could give me a thumbs up on your end, how am I sounding? How am I looking? This is always a challenge to do this with one monitor, but so yeah, there's lots of sound in this edit. Right now, we'll just kind of look at just the timeline and see how I have it arranged. And so here's our main track is on track 1. And then we got, our first layer sound effects on track 2. Same with 3, and you can see I have all the way down here 9 layers of sound in some places. And the video is pretty crazy too. There are 6 layers of video. So I will just kind of let this play. I'll smoke a bowl while you guys kind of watch and see what I have been working on, and then I'll kind of break it down, kind of section at a time. If you have any questions, feel free, fire them off. So that is it. I still haven't even come up with a name yet. It really didn't have a point to it. I just have a shit ton of footage on my computer, so I figured why not try and challenge myself and make a badass edit with what I have on hand. But yeah, as I'm not sure if you guys could totally hear all those sound effects, but there was lots of them. I probably spent maybe not as much time on audio as I did video, but I spent a lot of time on audio. Yeah, no, I'm trying to make a little side hustle with video editing. So hopefully it comes to fruition in a little bit. I think John Virjan, he just got his Part 107, so he also just got a Mavic 2, and I know he's starting his own little business, and he needs kind of like an editor because he just has so much shit going on that so. So my sound samples, I get all my, there's a few different ways I do it, but probably the majority of my samples come from epidemicsound.com. It's a great website. It's got a free trial if you guys are, trying to step up your edits, and you want to see what sound effects are like and see how to use them. It's fairly easy. It's a lot easier than video. It might be just me, but I came from, producing a little bit of music, so I have a little bit of knowledge in, audio, timeline arrangement. But so yes, and right off the bat, we have this little ride-on effect. You can tell it's not even perfect, but it's happening so fast that your brain doesn't even really realize. So I went through and just put the text on and slowly masked it off, frame by frame. But as you can see, that's not how somebody would write, It just kind of washes it over. But it's happening so fast, and I added this little sound effect that you can barely even tell it doesn't look perfect. And then right here, this is 3 different sound effects layered in the beginning here. This top one is a gunshot in reverse. Gunshots are really good if you play them in reverse. Gunshots are really good for building up that kind of build, anticipation, that rise. These are actually called risers, is the production term. And of course, I adjusted the volume on each of these because they were super loud coming in. Let me just say what's up to a lot of these guys. Champ, 608, Night Train, Primitive, Kush. You guys are all the homies. I fucking love all of you each and individually in your own ways. And I have about probably 30 hours into this one so far. Probably the most I've put into an edit up until this point. So, and here's just some more, a couple more layers of a little glitchiness, sound effects, and if anybody wants the sound effects I used, hit me up and I'll just send them to you so you don't have to go searching. I'm always down to help anybody out. If you want my LUTs or my presets, I'm not doing anything special that I'm not going to show you guys how to do. Like, nothing I do is secret. It just is, patience. A lot of this is frame by frame kind of things. So, if you get frustrated at a flight edit that takes, under 4 hours, then maybe this kind of editing isn't for you. But I'm trying to, just push it to the limit. Why not? So, what's up, BQE? Old Bill boy in the house. And so this scene right here, the color was really off. That's why it's so, I glitched it so hard. And that's kind of like a little trick you can do. If you have something that you just don't like or you wish it was a little bit differently, look at, throw a glitch on it and some sound effects. It took a little while, but it totally made that unusable footage usable. A little bit of footsteps sound effects right there. Very subtle. Some seagull beach sounds right there. Some morning bird sounds. Another little glitch with a little RGB split. I've been doing so on the RGB splits lately. I don't like to fully split them. I only like to split the red and the blue. It kind of looks, I don't know. It looks more like you're looking through 3D glasses than some weird effect is happening. So you can see the green there. I don't think I separated the green fully, but. And this was just one morning in my backyard. I took my gimbal out there and I need to do some yard work, as you can see, but it made for a good shot. I got some bike sound effects right there. Yeah, and this type of editing is definitely not appealing to most people. It's kind of like a little niche, especially within the FPV community. Everybody makes cool videos without having to edit, you just send your badass drone up cool places. And I'm not that great of a pilot, so that's why I gotta trick people into watching my videos by having cinematic skills, and then you drop some flight footage and they're like, oh shit, that was sick. And a trick, always leave people wanting more of your flights. You hate it when somebody just is just shoving the same old flight footage down your throat. You know, you want to be like, oh shit, like that dude put out footage, oh look at that. Yeah, and you know those pilots, you know, there's like those few pilots, whenever they put out stuff, it's fucking badass. I had to use that OpenTX sound, because why the fuck not? And that was multiple layers. Like these nested clips have layers inside layers. Some train horns. And this upcoming shot right here with the eye was probably the most time intensive as whole section of this video. So this was multiple layers again, and it was frame by frame masking out the eye, scaling it, rotating it, while at the same time scaling and rotating the underside layer, which was the train bridge, just with a kaleidoscope effect, with a little kind of I don't even know what you would call that, just a little rotating geometric shape. That was also another one that took a while. I really like that one, coming into the camera lens. Yeah, that one still needs color, as you can see. But that was another one. You just scale and rotate, and I even throw, like you can see, my hat is mirrored on top. There's like this mirror effect that I kind of threw in there. Give it a little distorted look. And then, so here, this 3 different days, 3 different times, 3 different places, but they all have Mount Garfield in the background. You know, and if you have like multiple shots and you want to use them together, make sure there's like a, maybe, you don't have to, but it helps if there's a landmark that's consistent throughout the scenes. See, and you can see it in the background up here. And when you do have time lapses, rather than just letting the time lapse play, add some zoom to it. It adds just a whole nother layer of depth to it. And throughout this whole edit, I try to keep the motion consistent. You know, if I'm moving up or left, you know, I try to keep the next shot with the same motion. And then this, I'm thinking about redoing this whole thing. I know I can get it to look better. But you can see the general concept. You know, I want to zoom out from my driveway and really get it to kind of look like one shot into a Google Maps shot, and then zoom all the way out through the map into the phone. Yeah, see, that scaling isn't right, but you can see what I'm going after. This was like V1 of this section. Sometimes it takes, you know, 3 or 4 tries to get a section like this to where it looks the way I want it. And so I will show you guys another little edit that I've been working on. Yeah, man, it's yeah, tire flyer, like it's all those little things that just compound. You know, it's the, you know, using the motion and the zooming, and just there's just so much you can do with video in you know, a program like Premiere, or manipulation of visual stimuli. And if you guys haven't heard, I got picked up by BQE. Fuck yeah, thanks, Bill. Love you, bro. Make fucking some of the sexiest damn frames out there, for sure. Yeah, so I completely built that whole edit around that song. I like listened to that song and I was like, oh man, I need to make an edit to this. Um, Sound should be step one because if you just randomly drop clips, um, but it doesn't always work like that. So with a lot of my flight edits, I'll just jam music while I'm flying, and after I get home, I'll sit down and since my computer is not what is really required to edit 4K footage and all that. My flight footage I have to like pre-render out the night before. So basically, I'll just like find where I'm flying, cut all those clips out, pre-render it the night before, and sit down the next day with some weed and just jam like 50 different songs if I didn't already have one in mind. And then, if I see a spot where I'm just like, okay, that just matches up like perfect. I'll grab that song, throw it in there, and then start clipping around it. So this was a day we went out for Spoonie J's birthday. It was me, Spoonie J, Lucid, and Virgin. We took the one wheels and my electric bike out and just had a good day. Sometimes, and we didn't even take the quads. Some days it's nice to leave the quads at home. You come back refreshed and eager to go rip some shit. Oh, might have to drop the quality on this. Let my computer catch up here. See you later, Primitive. Thanks for hanging out, dude. Maybe if I close some stuff. Yeah, the electric bikes are what's up, dude. It's literally like a little quiet motorcycle that I get to drive everywhere. I have a 3-inch, but I'm not the biggest fan of micros. I like gripping the big boys. Man, it doesn't like this one, which is crazy because there's way more editing in that other video. There's just color and clips in this one. But that just shows you, like all the GoPro footage is very taxing on the CPU. Well, yeah, and that is about the extent of that edit. I need to go back and I have a lot more footage to go through. Look at all that shit. There was, we had 3 GoPros going all day, so there's 3 GoPros I have to go through. So, now that I showed you guys what I've been working on, we're going to come back here in Premiere and we're going to start a new project. And we're just going to kind of go from the basics. If anybody still is following along and really wants to learn my process, we're gonna go through it. So when I open a project, it's simple. New project. We're gonna title this live. And so I really don't know, what I want to use. I do have a few songs that I downloaded, so we're gonna start just with some music. It's a great place to start, like we were saying. Call them sound effects I'd be downloading. What's up, McFlight? A boy. If you guys don't know who McFlight is, fucking one badass dude. He runs FPV Prints over in Denver. Part of the QX crew, the Quad Explosion guys. Yeah, this is a good one right here. Yep, but just simply drag my audio right onto my timeline. And let's go find a clip to use. So lots of stuff in the fall. This is some good stuff right here. Use this nice sunny shot. So we can either drag it into our project bin right here. I guess it didn't go. Let's drag it into the project bin. Importing files. And then you want to bring it up here to your source monitor. And let's see what we got in here that's usable. Drop this quality. Oh. Maybe this is, oh, this looks like it's just a time lapse. So I guess I could show you guys how I do my time lapses since we're here. So I'll drag the whole clip, just the video, not the audio, because you don't need audio when you're doing time lapse. And when you're working with multiple different resolutions, see this is like 1080 and like 2.7. So we're gonna right click the clip, scroll down, set to frame size. It's gonna automatically scale the way it needs to. I'll try the Osmo Action. If I had like a little bit extra money, I'd go buy it and do a review on it. But it's worth a try, right? You can't discredit everything right away. I'm not a hater until I've tried something. So now that we have it scaled to the frame size, we're gonna right click. We're going to hold function R, and we're gonna get our speed. And we're going to go 9,000 times. So this 10-minute clips ended up being 6 seconds. And that's basically how I do my time lapses. I don't even shoot the time lapse video. I shoot video and then just speed it up. My camera will not do time lapse photography, which is gay as fuck. So that's how you do some time remapping. Let's see what else we got here. Like a cool shot. And I'm very unorganized with my footage. It's like my worst trait working on the computer. Messing around outside with my gimbal, I think. Yeah, I mean, it's worth a try for our mini quads, right? So that's a good little clip to start with. Again, we're gonna right click, set frame size. And a little trick I have found lately to use if you want very stable footage for like B-roll or something, you can use optical flow to kind of fake slow motion. Unless it's a shot where right here, see how the sun is moving into frame and it's got glare. Anytime you have light moving through your frame like that, you can't use optical flow. I'll show you why. So we're going to come down here, right click, come down here to time interpolation and click optical flow. And now we're going to change the speed of this 1080 60 frames per second clip down to 20. That's 12 frames per second. You should definitely see choppiness. Look at that choppiness. Now let's render this little part. You have to render it to see the optical flow in effect, but we'll render that. Yeah, for like vlogging and stuff, I think it's gonna be better than the GoPro. Audio. So my music, I pretty much just use whatever music I'm listening to throughout the day. I get a copyright notice on every one of my videos, but it's just the one that says, "Oh, you're using copyrighted material. Don't worry, you don't have to do anything." Blah blah blah. I don't monetize my videos, so I really don't give a fuck. But look at that. Okay, that is 60 frames per second played at 20% speed with optical flow. And it looks, and that's honestly, it doesn't even look that bad. I thought it was going to look way horrible with these sun flares. Boom, right there. Everybody just got a 120 frame per second camera. Boom. Look at that. When I found this out, I fucking tripped out. Fake slow motion. It's a thing. Look, you even have like the little leaf moving. See, you can see it affecting it right there a little. The glare kind of jumps back and forth. But maybe that's just, yeah, right there. Boom. You can see it. But I thought it was going to look worse. So there's how to fake slow motion. Trick people out. And it works great for like wide landscape shots with the sun at your back. Works amazing for that. You can literally slow it down. I've slowed footage down to 0% with rendering it at 60 frames per second, and it just looks like 60 frames per second come into a slow stop without any jitters. Yeah, YouTube don't pay. Like, fuck them. I think Casey Neistat, he said he didn't even start monetizing until he had 1 million subscribers, which at that point it makes sense to. But say we want to time remap this clip. We're going to come over here. So right where the audio drops out, we're going to have it slow down to 0%. And then right before, we're going to speed it back up. Again, set to frame size. We are working in 1080, so I could always go in and change my sequence settings to 1080 so I don't have to do that. But then if I drag 4K or 2.7, it's going to scale it down. And I would rather scale up 1080 than scale down my 4K and 2.7. But, so this is speed remapping, or time remapping. Speed ramping, it's also called. I'm going to right click this little effects box up here in the top left. Right click, go down to time remapping, click speed. Now it's going to bring this line in the middle of your clip. You're going to hit P for point. And so right at the music cutout. So we're going to zoom in so we get a nice visual representation of what we're doing. I'm going to drop a point right there. Come over here to the right side where we want to slow down. Drag it down, and we're going to slow it down to 0. But we're going to do it, and then you get these two little tick marks in here that you can drag and adjust how long it takes to slow down the clip. So we'll give it a nice gradual slope. And it helps when you're time remapping to make your clip really big so you can see what you're doing. After you have it lined out the way you want it, you can click these little tick marks again, and you can drag this little guy, and it's going to smooth out that transition so it's not linear. So then right here, we're going to drop another point. We want to come back to 100. You want to get this to line up right on beat. Zoom in. It never hurts to over zoom. And when you're in this situation where your audio doesn't line up exactly, always go before. You would rather have your visual cue change before your audio, because you're gonna process the audio faster than the video. So. So now we have a nice smooth line. Looks pretty smooth. And now we're going to render that and see what that looks like. Oh, you know what I didn't do? Is use optical flow. Don't think so. So we're going to right click this clip, come back down to timer interpolation, optical flow, render that out. Oh, good night, you guys. I know I did this late tonight, but thanks for hanging out. Later, Night Train. Hell's Pawn FPV, that sounds cool. I like that, dude. We're just going over time remapping right now. Kush, when do you sleep? I don't ever think Kush sleeps. I just see him always constantly on. Sleep during the day or something, homie? Alright, we'll get the screen a little bit bigger so we can see this. And that literally took, what, 2 minutes to do? But it's way better than cutting your clips and just dropping the speed, where it's just like two different speed clips next to each other. It looks crappy. That looks pretty cool, huh? Okay, and then since we have our motion is going to the right, well, I guess to the left, drag this out a little bit, and what we're going to do, zoom out. So right here, the snare, we want it to transition into another clip. So we're going to speed ramp up from 100% to 300. We're going to drop a point right before the snare, bring it up to 300. I don't know what, but 300 just looks like, it looks good when this part is done. Speed ramping out of clips is a great way to kind of carry the momentum into the next clip. And we might even drag this out a little bit further. It's very hard to tell, but you can tell. Most people won't realize it, but I know I got some stuff in here we can use. Let's use. Let's click. Maybe not We'll use this one. I thought I grabbed this one. I think there's a little bit of motion in this. Yep. So see how we have that same motion? Side to side motion. So we're going to take this in and out to grab just the part we want. We're going to have to set the frame size again. See how that motion is the same? Side to side motion, but it's actually traveling the opposite way we want it. So we're going to come in here. At least I think it is. Yeah, we have the camera moving to the left, the object moving to the right. So yeah, we reverse this clip now. And we want to time remap it, but when you start to time remap a reverse clip, it gets funky. So you're going to have to right click, come in here, hit nest. And now you can come back and time remap again, and it will act normal. So we're going to come back up to 300. Add a point. Drop this down. Let's probably go to maybe 80. Don't need to go super slow. See what this looks like. What's up, Quad Foo? Canadian Drone Hub. I am from Southern California, currently living in Colorado. So something just doesn't look right here. I feel like I don't like those frames. So we're gonna kind of drag those and you gotta just kind of manipulate it until you just feel like it looks right. Don't be afraid to try shit and then Control Z a bunch of times, like. I think I need to drop this speed sooner. Let's try that, see what that looks like. We'll render that. Smoke him if you got him. Hell's Pond, east side of Denver. Dude, then you should definitely come to the Junk Down Get Down. Are you planning on that? Do you know what that is or about that? Biggest party in Colorado for FPV pilots. You don't want to miss it. You know about it? Sweet. Tide flyer, no ride over. You want me? Where are you coming from? And look at that. That's literally slowed down to 0%, and it looks pretty good. You know, and I would cut that frame right at that snare. yeah, there's a little bit of speed remapping, time remapping. And if we're like, oh, I don't like any of that time remapping, I just want to use the clip plane. Come down here, remove attributes. And like that, you have your original clip. And so, since we're here, we can color grade this. So this is not log or flat footage. I suggest shooting in flat, and I just found out how to do that on my DSLR. When you shoot in flat, it gives you a more dynamic range to come back in and adjust all these different components, exposure, contrast, highlights. This looks pretty good, but maybe our shadows are a little dark. As you can see right here, I kind of wish I had a little bit of detail on this branch. So let's see if we can bring our shadows up a little bit. Yeah, that quad explosion barbecue definitely looks interesting. So we're starting to get a little bit of detail back. Let's even bring our blacks up a little bit. You don't want to bring them up too much or it starts to get gray. But I like that. It looks a little bit better. Now let's get our white balance. It's pretty close. We might go a hair to the orange side. A little bit more. It's 10. I usually like to go past and then come back. 30 is way too much. It's got to be. Really? It's not? Sweet. That looks pretty good. You still got blue, but it's not too blue. And so, I will show you guys how to use my effects. They're pretty fucking easy. Like my favorite one lately is this Glitch Quake pack. But it requires an effect that I can't use because I don't have a GPU, so I have to delete this VR effect. But then and yeah, that's how I used some effects. It's pretty easy. All these presets I have, so if anybody wants them, hit me up. I'll be happy to send them to you. I do have a video with links on all of them on my channel. And so this is a good shot I can use to show you how to so if you drag a clip and just drop it directly on the timeline, it's going to bring the audio in with it. So I can show you guys how to gradient mask things. So I want to basically mask the sky out. And we're going to set the frame size. So there's a little bit of white detail on this tree that I want to try and get rid of. So what I'm going to do, so the gradient wipe is more effective, I'm going to come down here to the color. I'm going to bring the contrast up. So it's going to make my blacks blacker and my whites whiter. Like I want all this completely black so it masks it out. So that looks pretty good. Let's get a time lapse that we can throw behind it. This kind of effect is really cool for time lapses. You put them behind or underneath the layer, I guess it would be. We're going to come in here, find our gradient wipe tool. And we're going to come down to our effects. You guys might not be able to see this, but you come down here to your transition completion, and we just find out that little sweet spot where that sky just disappears. And so it by default it pulls the black out. We want to invert it so it pulls the white out. It doesn't seem like, let's go back here. So we're going to nest the clip. Whenever something's acting weird, you just nest it, and usually the problems go away. It's when things start acting on each other. So again, we're going to replace this so it pulls the black, or invert it. Let's go 60. We're almost there. We almost had the whole sky out. 63. A little bit more. 66. Almost. 70. Oh, right there. So just a little bit more. Okay, now we have the whole sky out. And again, we'll drag this clip underneath. Just set that to frame size. But now we have this cool little effect. Well, I think it's automated over there. Oh, it's in the beginning of the clip when I'm adjusting the exposure, I think. Yeah. It's still a little bit there, but. And then let's speed this guy up. Okay, I guess we need to go more, so. We will let a little bit of that render. Later, Quad Fu. Later, Tired Flyer. Oh, no, you're not leaving. You just have to. You gotta go to a nighttime session. Hell yeah, dude. Yeah, the keyboard shortcuts are probably the most important thing in any kind of timeline editing. We don't need to see this whole thing. Let's just render a few frames. Yeah, like most people don't see how long I sit behind my computer, but I'm doing this a lot of the day. It takes a lot to learn in a beast of a program like Premiere. And then, you think about like After Effects and CGI and special effects. But I will get to that point one day, when I have hardware that will run that kind of stuff flawlessly, because if I thought Premiere was bad, yeah. But After Effects has some amazing stuff to really lighten the workload. A lot of the stuff I do in Premiere can be like automated way easy in After Effects. Thanks, 608. Yeah, they all do the same shit. Like it's all the same shit. No matter what uh, software you use, you can use things that I do in your software. Whether it be color, just or even just rules for editing. Ways to go about your edit. But as you can see, I'm like moving my head. It looks like I'm sitting there looking at this big ass fence, and I didn't have to mask it out. The gradient wipe tool is great for that. I use it a lot for masking out skies. But as you can see, like it's like the sky's moving. See if I can bring the quality up for you. Like watch the clouds up here. And my head's moving, so you can use it in a lot of different instances and make it look really badass. And that's that. And then the chain clip underneath can really make it pop with some color. Anytime you see like really light blue and light orange, I know that you can just hammer down with this subtle classic LUT I have and just really make it look fucking badass. Look at that. That looked just like a million times better. Brought out all this orange right here. Definitely think this needs to be faster too. Go 1000. More. Let's go 2000. And sometimes you just gotta play with the speed and get it right. See what that looks like. Oh yeah, you always gotta shoot with editing in mind. Um, I don't use anything to stabilize in Premiere other than speed is an amazing stabilization tool. Like I was showing you the optical flow technique. That basically gives you 120 frames per second on a 60 frame per second camera. So say your DSLR, will only shoot 60, but you want that nice smooth buttery 120. You just use optical flow, and it basically fixes that problem. And it's noticeable sometimes, so you can't always use it, but it's a cheap way to make your stuff have a production value to it. I also have a gimbal, a 3-axis gimbal for my. If it only shoots 30, you can even use 30, and I would bet you could slow 30 frames down to 40% and be fine. Same thing. It's the same math. You can try if it's if you have good lighting. I bet you could slow it down to 20. Worth a try. That's why I just always shoot in 60 though. Now, when all my cameras are at 60, it's easy to decide if I want to, render in 24 frames for the cinematic look, if there's no flight footage involved. But anytime I have any flight footage, I just have to render it in 60 or I just hate myself after. Just see all weird, if you thought YouTube compression was bad before, drop, 60 frames per second down to 24 of some fast ass mountain surfing, and it'll just be like pixel blocks, and it'll be like, what the fuck? So, if you have flight footage, definitely render in 60. Maybe. My computer, it is a very, very basic Mac Mini that my homie let me borrow because my MacBook Pro died a while back, and he basically saved my life. But I am building a editing tower right now, a few parts short, so that'll be done here soon. But here's that shot after we masked out the sky and speeded up the time lapse. Sick, right? And you guys saw how long that took. That was fucking easy. Or if you want to do something really cool, you can take both of these clips, nest them. And over here, I have these fake camera motion effects. You're talking about stability. Well, we're adding motion at this point. So we're going to drop the effect on here. It's going to zoom in a little, but it's also going to add fake motion. So but what it's going to do is now it's going to blend those shots together so they absolutely look like one. It's going to look like somebody's holding the camera. What's up, Dane? How you doing, buddy? Yeah, and if you want to fuck around with like this kind of shit and you don't have any footage to fuck around with, there's tons of sites that have free downloads for stock footage that you could practice on. Or this is a fun little hobby. Like this, it's just like how 3D. Some people get into 3D printing as like a whole other hobby in FPV. This was my other hobby that I found from FPV. So I'd already been producing music and I knew how to timeline edit. And so when I opened up Premiere, I was like, oh, this is fucking easy, I know how to do this. Then I just took those, rules and things I learned in that kind of timeline arrangement and brought it into Premiere, and it's transferred over pretty well. That with little YouTube University never hurt. So we will let this finish rendering and we'll play it back and then we will call it a night. But I really appreciate everybody hanging out tonight. It's been a minute since I streamed. Figures I would check back in with you guys. I got a lot going on in my life. But I am getting back on top of it all and I should be putting out consistent content. At least I'm going to try to do like a badass edit like this and then some flight footage. At least 2 videos a week at least, and then 1 video a week on the Drone Co channel. So keep your eyes open on those. Make sure you got notifications turned on. Now let's watch this. Maybe when my computer catches back up. Thanks, Big Flight. Yeah, now look at this. It literally looks like someone's fucking holding a camera behind me. And now that looks just like one fucking shot. How badass is that? Come on, play. Play it for the people. Premiere don't like you guys tonight. It really doesn't like me. Badass, right? Fake camera motion. Sometimes motion is good. Alright, you guys. Thanks again for hanging out. Again, don't forget to sub. If you guys haven't heard of BQE.io, check out their badass frames. Multicopter builders. The MB Primos are, bar none, the best fucking motor I've tried. China Hobby Line. Get them mini stars in your life and see what real Punch Out's about. 420 FPV, keeping it fucking cool and mellow on Facebook. If you want to join a cool group on Facebook, 420 FPV is the spot. Hot Dog FPV, the best fucking straps in the game. Everybody knows about them. And don't forget to check out the Hot Dog FPV stream tomorrow night. And then UFDA Crew, we do the live stream on Tuesday nights. Shit show. Thanks again, you guys. Until next time. Peace.